and welcome back to Ghost Stories Told from the South. I am your co-host, Alexi Booth.
And I am your host, Stephen Levu.
We have a handful of good
We
stories.
hope y'all enjoyed the stories last week. And give a shout out to my old little brother in Oklahoma, Mikey. He gave me some stories to check into too, and he's from Westville, Oklahoma. It's right there on the Arkansas-Oklahoma border.
Yeah. Today we have a handful of pretty good stories to tell you guys. I'm going to be talking about the Penhurst State School and Hospital and the LaLaurie Mansion. It's off of American Horror Story. It's the third season of it's the Coven season, and it's located in Louisiana.
Don't you got some other good news to tell them?
Yeah, but I was waiting on you to tell your stories.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going a little bit ahead of myself today. Yeah, my stories today, one of them is the Converse the Converse Werewolf down in South Texas. Then I got another story on the old Goatman Bridge. So it ought to be good, guys and girls.
Yeah. Okay, so we do have some good news. So we officially have a Instagram, a Twitter, a Spotify, iTunes, and an email for you guys. So our Instagram and Twitter is South Texas Ghost, and it's South, SOUTH, and then Texas, but it's TX like the abbreviation, and then Ghost, GHOSTS, with no spaces, all lowercase, and it's like that for Instagram and Twitter. And then Spotify and iTunes, it's both just ghost stories told from the South. And the email, it's all lowercase, and it's ghost stories told from the ghost stories told from the South at gmail.com. And there's no spaces or anything. So just whatever you feel like doing, Instagram, Twitter, Gmail, just shoot us a comment or something and tell us what you think about the show. And
Pretty pumped about iTunes. It's pretty cool we got on iTunes. So we got, we got one on, no, I don't got one on Stitcher yet. We're going to get one on Stitcher, and I got us up for Westwood One, too. That's another big platform.
Yeah, we're excited.
We're excited. It's getting there. Oh, and we get some, we noticed we get some audience members in Italy,
Brazil,
and
India.
I'd like to say thank you guys for listening way out there.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I was like, whoa.
That's pretty cool.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
So, do you want me to kick it off or you want to?
You go ahead and kick it, boy.
Okay, so this one is kind of a long one. I found all the history, and then just today I had to go back and find the ghost stuff. So there's a lot of history, but there's not that much ghost information. But it's also one of those buildings that it's like abandoned, but the state owns it, but it's falling and crumbling to pieces, so they don't want you going in it. So like not a lot of people can go in it, but also I've read and stuff that not Ghost Adventures, but like paranormal experts and stuff like that have like gone on it.
Paranormal investigators. Yeah. Is that what you're trying to say?
I just didn't really know how to word it. So it's just, it kind of varies, I guess, like on the person or like what you are or who you are. So, or like whenever you went. So, yeah. But like I said, I couldn't get much ghost information, but the history itself is pretty good. So, okay. So, the Penhurst State School and Hospital, it had like 100 names. It was originally known as the Eastern...
3 times fast. Originally.
It was originally known as the Eastern Pennsylvania State Institution, and it was for the feeble-minded and epileptic Southern Pennsylvania people, like anybody that was like that. And it ran for 79 years. That's one of the longest ones that we've had.
Yeah.
There's another one today that's like pretty long. And it closed on December 9th, 1987. And then in 1903, the construction for it began. So there's So in one, I read in one article that like only like 1,000 and 146 people could fit, but in that other article I read that only like 500 people could fit.
Wow.
So like I don't know exactly, but I know.
I mean, a lot of these places are just kind of like the prisons at the time, and kind of like the problem we have now with prisons and hospitals. Sometimes
Yeah.
they build them for like, let's say they build it for 100 people, and they end up getting, like a lot of them insane asylums would end up getting 2, 3, 500 people, and it was only meant for 100.
Yeah. Well, and like this one, they ended up getting like almost 3,000 people,
Jesus.
and they said it was only built for between 500 and 1,000. So they were way overcrowded. So
Wow,
yeah.
that's crazy. That's a lot of people.
Yeah. One of the articles, they said that they only had like 1,000 available, like only made room for that much, and there was like almost 3,000 people in Pennsylvania that needed the care. Apparently, they were labeled underneath that needed care. So,
Man, that's crazy.
but there was still I said hillbillies. There was 2 buildings.
There was 2 hillbillies by a building.
There was 2 buildings. There was one for educational and the like industrial use.
Use.
And there was one for the custodians and the asylum use and stuff like that. So 2 buildings. And there was other buildings too, but those are like the 2 main buildings.
Oh, the hillbillies still in the picture?
No. So like, okay, this building also is one of the ones that was like a community. It had like farms, and it had like it was its own thing.
See, there was that's just like that one you said that was in San Antonio, how they were self-sufficient.
A lot of them I'm realizing are like that. Like they were very isolated.
If they're that big and isolated, they're usually self-sufficient. They used to have a lot of prisons though. I don't know if the prisons are probably like that anymore, but I know back in the day a lot of them were self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Especially your southern ones. And if they, like you said, if they was out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. So, and then again, this is another article that I read where it said like no fewer than 500 patients could be admitted or whatever. But then clearly there was like almost like 3,000 admitted. So I'm not understanding that part because then it did say that there's no room for like additions, or they didn't have money for like add-ons and stuff. But obviously there was. I don't.
Well, yeah, they had to have some kind of money. I mean, Jesus, they kept taking all them patients in.
Yeah. Because
even if it was a state-ran facility, or it was probably a state-ran facility, and they'd get money for how many people were in there.
Yeah. So in 1903 the construction began, and then it lasted until 1908, and then on November 23rd of 1908 it opened, and then within 4 years of it just like running and going, the building, it already was overcrowded, and it was under a lot of pressure to admit immigrants and orphans and criminals.
Wow.
Yeah. Only in 4 years. And
in 4 years it was overcrowded. That's crazy.
So this is one of the hospitals that it's like, I say hospitals, but it was a lot. It was weird. So, okay, this is one of the places where it's like classified into like different categories. So they're categorized into like mental categories of insane, their physical conditions like their health, or they even went off of like their dental. Like if their teeth,
records and stuff.
Well, like if their teeth were good or poor or treated, like good teeth. Like so yeah, I don't.
That's weird.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Oh, man, let's keep this one. She's got some good teeth. We can sell them.
I know.
On the black market.
It was like what?
His teeth are rotten. Don't let him in.
So the patients also had to do like a lot of labor. It was like the prisons, whenever like you got I don't want to say admitted, but like when you got put there, they made you do labor and work. But the patients or whatever here, they made you do work. And this was also a school. So like instead of them teaching most of the time, they would just give you like one really easy thing to do and you'd be fine. Like there wasn't ever any teaching.
So basically they said, here's a crayon book, color.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a school and like a hospital/asylum too. Like, and it was not that. It was terrible, and the conditions were terrible, and they made basically I say inmates, but like that's what they called them, inmates, and the patients, basically they're slaves, like to do everything and why they sit on their butts. And
that's usually how it went back then, man. There wasn't no like.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Supervision, really.
So the industries, like the industries that they had to do, or like they were assigned, they had to make mattresses,
Mattresses.
mattresses, whatever. They had to make those or fix them. They had to make shoes or fix them. They had to grade papers. They had to farm, like help out in the farm. They had to do laundry. They had domestic rules. They had to do sewing and baking, and they were butchering like the animals and stuff, like for food. They were painting, and they were working in the store because they had a little store. Yeah. So, and then also they had cottages. Specifically, I don't know, it didn't say when or like when it was made or like what went up to it, but they had these cottages that were specifically to keep women and men apart because I guess a lot of them were trying to have sex and they didn't want no pregnancies.
Kind of do the nasty.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't that crazy if they, you know.
This also kind of ties into American Horror Story because remember whenever the girl Lena Winters or whatever, not Lena Winters, the one that was admitted because she was trying to expose the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And she got out and she exposed the hospital for what we realized and she went back and videotaped everything.
Yeah, because she wrote that book, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of it, that guy, her, what was
Bloody
the killer?
Face.
Yeah, Bloody Face's son, remember?
Yeah.
Went to her book signing.
Oh, yeah, it was Lena Winters.
Yeah. Cha-cha-cha-cha.
Anyway, so, and it's kind of like the same thing. So, in 1963, conditions at the hospital were exposed through television. And, like, the one person that went there, it was, like, basically, like, the same thing. Somebody that went there exposed the hospital.
Exposed them and all that? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then in 1983, an employee, or many employees, it was 9, was indicated. That's, like, a fancy word, I guess, for charged. Or is like faced with charges from slapping and beating patients, and some were even in wheelchairs, like defenseless. And they even arranged patients to like beat each other.
Oh gosh, so they had a fight club for the.
Yeah, it was bad.
That's messed up, man. I'm bored. Well, hey, let's get that guy over there in cell 8 to fight the guy over there in cell 10.
That's like how it was.
Jeez.
And eventually, I didn't look it up, but I probably should have. It was the Holderman case. It shut down the institution. So that it doesn't run anymore because that case shut down the place. I never got looked into it, but I should have.
It was probably kind of.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Well,
there's probably neglecting them, raping them, beating them, like you said, all sorts of crap, just being total shit.
And then the instigating patient fights. That was like.
That's crazy, man. Hey, that patient over there is talking crap about you.
Yeah, and then like another thing that they had containment tunnels. There was at least 1,200 people there, like that was down there at one point. It was a government facility and was hidden underground for decades. Like no one knew what it was until like it pretty much shut down. And then it's pretty much where patients were experimented on in inhuman ways, like. You know, like lobotomies and stuff like that and stuff.
The government just doing what they usually do. Come in and make guinea pigs of you.
Basically, yeah. So they turned one, because like I said, there's many like buildings. Yeah. They turned one of the buildings to... sorry, I'm talking really fast.
Yeah, you need to slow it down.
I'm excited. I love this stuff. They turned one of the haunted houses into a... they turned one of the places into a haunted house. Yeah, because like I said, they have many buildings.
They turned a haunted house into an asylum?
And like I said, there's probably a lot of investigations, like paranormal investigations that you can do there. So, yeah. But, and then by 1960, there was at least home to almost 3,000 people. Wow. And then, and then this said it was like 900 more than capacity. So that's where I got confused too. I was like, well, at first it said like no more than like 500. Now it's saying it's like...
Yeah.
So I wasn't really sure how much it was built for. But this place, it really neglected them because they had individuals chained to adult-sized cribs. And they had children in cages.
Wow.
Yeah. So...
Well, that's where I want to go if I go loony. They sound like they know how to treat a patient.
So, this is a former resident. He complained and, like, I don't want to say complained because that sounds like I'm one of them. but he like said something about everything that was happening there when he got out, and he complained, or I don't want to keep on saying complained. He said something about the intense physical, emotional, and physiological.
Physical. Never mind.
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Abuses
y'all
at
got that out there?
abuses at the hands of the nurses and the caregivers.
God.
And then
Don't even sound like they even really attempted to make any kind of attempt to
like fix it.
to fix anybody.
Yeah, they
Or
just
do anything.
just gave up.
Just sit there and be like, no, well, we'll just let this carry on.
Yeah. Well, and it did say that it changed the way the American legal system works, and it changed like as
You know what? Because back then, them people didn't have any rights.
yeah.
They were just like, who cares what they're doing to them? They're freaking, Because like I said, back then, it was people did it all the time. If you was born and you was a little crazy or
Depressed or this or whatever, anything.
They'd be like, oh well, we don't want you to be part of our family. They'd ship them up to them insane asylums and keep them there and never go see them or anything.
Yeah, even if your family just didn't want you, they'd be like, bye.
Yeah, well, that's like JFK's family. Their sister back in the day of them lobotomies, they sent her there to get one, and she was brain dead after that and had to stay there the rest of her damn life.
Jeez.
She was perfectly fine, and they gave her a goddamn lobotomy.
Wow.
Stupid asses, man.
Well, and it also helped with the way that society treats like those people with special needs.
Oh yeah.
Because if you notice now, everyone's really. I mean, there's some people that are still jerks to them,
But
but
the
overall,
majority of
people
it,
are so nice to them now and like actually socialize with them, and they don't have a other world, So that's pretty much the history.
That's the history.
So now we're gonna get on to I almost said the history, the ghost stuff. So okay, I did mention that there was other buildings. I didn't know the names of them, but the names of them are noticed or said in like these ghost stories. Yeah. So there are at least other 20 buildings. I do want to say that. And the basement of the Mayflower, that is one of the buildings. There is a doctor in there. He's very angry, and he likes to throw his surgical tools and everything at you or other stuff. Like,
I wonder if he was like that in real life.
I couldn't find any history on like what happened to him or anything.
Jeez, there ain't no.
But it just says that, like, as I read the reviews of people going there and stuff, because that's how I could only find ghost stuff.
Yeah, that's true, because it ain't. Yeah.
And then there's a Quaker building, and
Quaker.
This one girl and her friends went in there, and her friend both saw
Both saw
4 sets of glowing red eyes.
Screw that! I'd be running out of there. I'd shit.
I know, right? And then paranormal investigators went in, and they heard like over the MVPs or whatever, somebody was threatening them to leave.
Oh God!
Like warning them and stuff too is weird.
That'd be weird. I don't know what I'd do if I heard that.
Yeah, I don't.
It would be kind of crazy.
There is a little girl and a man. They rock chairs. Or they rock chairs, but sometimes they do it on their own. Like, the chairs rock on their own, like people sitting in them and stuff.
Oh, God, that's weird.
And then the doors open and stuff on their own. And bruises are left on some of the people.
No.
Like, it's, yeah. And the Quaker building, that's where all the stuff has pretty much happened. That's like one of the most haunted buildings over there.
Well, I won't be going to the Quaker building.
And then there's also like sounds of dragging chains, like dragging metal chains. And there's like, you can also, like they say, you can like hear the patients vomiting. But it's abandoned, so it's like obviously ghosts.
Yeah.
But so that's pretty much all I have on that. But I know I'm doing a lot of like asylums, but I do honestly find them interesting. Not like the crap they did to people, but like I don't know. I'm really weird, and I really do like. I don't know how to explain it without sounding really offensive. I like it.
It's interesting to you.
Yeah, basically. Okay. Yes. So now it is Daddy's turn.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about the Converse Werewolf. And this takes place around Converse, Texas. And about that, well, legend has it, and the story goes that this is another one of them stories. Some folklore in it, but some facts.
Okay.
So Legend goes in the late 1800s, there was a soldier who just came back from, to start his life over. He was a Civil War guy. I think he fought for the North. And he came down here just to get away and start his life over again. And, Texas was trying to be a state, I think, at the time. And anyways, just wanted a new life for him and his family. So, the couple, him and his wife at the time, moved down here, and they had a boy. Well, the boy, he wasn't a real big country guy. He liked to read books and study and stuff like that. He was a real big book guy. He loved reading books. And of course, back then you got made fun of for liking books and all that.
Yeah.
If you weren't real manly out riding horses and shooting stuff and fishing and hunting, you weren't a man. That's how they thought. It's crazy how narrow-minded we have been through history.
I know, right?
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, his dad, was getting really irritated because he didn't want to go out hunting with him, when he'd go on his hunting trips to get food or go out in the farm and pick stuff from the land, he just wasn't interested. He was red on it. He finally got it done, and he told him, he said, "Hey, here's your gun. You need to start going out there and learn how to hunt and get some dinner. Be a man. Learn how to take care of your family." So he goes out there. And the boy said he comes running back. I mean, hauling butt. He's gone for like 30 minutes. He comes running butt. We're just hauling ass. Running really, really fast. And the mom and dad's like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" Well, he's like, "Oh, Mom, I don't know what I seen. It looked like a werewolf or a hairy beast or something out in the woods." And, of course, the parents, even his dad, was like, "Whatever, son. You're just not wanting to go hunting. You're scared about being out there in the woods by yourself. Just be a big boy. Go out there and, hunt something. You got a gun. You ain't got nothing to be worried about. There ain't nothing going to attack you." Well, he sends him out there, and he sends him to Skull Crossing. It's a famous part of this creek that they live by where people crossed a lot. He told him to go out in that area and hunt and see if he could find a deer or elk or something. Well, he sent him out there, I think, about 3 or 4 o'clock, and then nightfall came. Got a little darker, got darker. Well, the man got concerned and got scared, so he rounded up a...
oh, he never came back.
Yeah, he never came back, so they rounded up a posse.
A search party?
A search party to go look for him. And they looked for him, and they found him. When they came to him, they seen this hairy beast. It was right... I want to say... How they explained it, it was like right before nighttime, so I think they could still see.
Like right before the sun hit?
Yeah.
Or sun fell?
Yeah, and they was sitting there... looking for him, and they found him, and they seen a werewolf lunched over him, eating on him, and they tried to shoot and they missed. Yeah,
so he was dead.
He was actually dead, and that's where they found him. They found him down by the shore. It looked like something was gnawing on him.
All because his dad wanted him to be a man, because he was reading.
Yes.
And so I bet you the dad blamed himself really bad for that one.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then the dad after that, the mom and dad kind of went crazy after that. I think they died kind of early and just kind of... The dad blamed himself a lot, they said.
Well, yeah, it was his fault.
Yeah, but it's another one of them, urban kind of folklores,
So, like, does he haunt the place or whatever, like, now?
Well, they said not the kid, but that's what I was
saying.
Oh,
like the werewolf?
Yeah, there's a lot of ever since people's been settling down there, they've said they've seen that werewolf, all the time. Always have sightings.
Where is it again?
Converse, Texas.
So we ain't going there. I don't want to get eaten by a werewolf.
Cabin down there.
I don't want to get eaten by a werewolf.
It's right there on Skull Creek. Skull Crossing.
We're not going over there.
Yeah.
No.
Come on.
If I get eaten by a werewolf, we're gonna blame yourself and go crazy too.
Wow.
And then you have to do the podcast all by yourself.
That would not be fun. I'd just call the werewolf guy. Yeah, but that's I thought that story was pretty cool. It's kind of like people see have sightings of the Goatman and stuff, and that's kind of unique. You don't hear about a werewolf legend in Texas or anything.
Yeah, no, you really don't. You just hear about like a woman in white and.
Yeah, but he was
stuff like that.
Apparently a bookworm, and his dad didn't like it. Sent him out there to hunt.
Never came back.
Yeah, the werewolf got him. Yeah, but they've had sightings. I was reading on some of it, some sightings. Like I said, people hunting and stuff, and there's been even reports too of it hitting the side of houses and stuff. For like if people are out camping, shaking the tent.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Ew.
Or if you're out there hunting or something, late at night you can hear the werewolf howl.
Oh God, no. I do not like that.
So next time you're out there in the woods, you hear that old owl, better think
I'm hightailing it out of there.
twice. It might not be a coyote.
Oh
It
God,
might be a monster. A werewolf.
a monster.
With Converse.
Okay, well, you know what? Speaking of werewolves, I think we're gonna move on and talk about the LaLaurie Mansion. I think I'm saying it right, LaLaurie, because it's not LaLaurie. LaLaurie. Yeah, LaLaurie.
Sounds good to me. It's good enough for the girls I date.
Okay, so it's the LaLaurie Mansion, and it is in New Orleans, Louisiana.
It is in New Orleans, Louisiana. I can't.
Way to go, stupid.
It is in New Orleans, Louisiana.
So, as I mentioned, American Horror Story did actually record it, or like record their show, and it was part of Coven, the 3rd season. And they based the person who lived in the mansion or whatever off of off of this person. So it's a true story, and it really did happen.
Oh, it's about that main chick, the one who was doing that mean stuff to her slaves.
Yeah.
The witch voodoo
Yeah.
lady.
So I I just hit the mic. So I really love the story. Not like what happened, but it's just so interesting, and like it ties into American Horror Story, which is one of my favorite shows.
Oh God.
And I really don't
yes.
want to offend anybody, but like there is African American slaves and stuff in this thing. So like I'm sorry if I offend anybody. I'm not trying to. But let's move on with it. Okay, so I'm gonna try to say her full name once, and then I'm gonna start calling her what everyone called her. So her full name was Marie Delphine McCarthy Blackie.
Her name even sounds like, I'm sorry, but her name just says I'm a bitch.
I know.
Her name just says I'm better than you.
Yeah. It was Marie Delphine McCarthy something LaLaurie. So everyone in the show, she went by Marie Delphine
But she was the
LaLaurie.
main voodoo woman, right?
No, not the voodoo.
Oh, she was the white chick.
Yeah.
Okay.
The what? Yeah.
Yeah. She did seem so snobby.
She purchased the property that the land was built on, that the mansion
The house was built on,
that was built on, and she built it, and it was a 3-story mansion, and she built it in 1832.
In 1832, we took a little trip.
So in the attic, there was slave quarters. And in the show, there was like cages and this and that, and that's pretty much how it was.
Really? It really was like that? So how it was in the movie when they showed the attic parts, that's how she kept them?
Yeah. And she had slaves, like, because all her slaves were African American or like, different color, like a different color than her. So she had slaves that would, like, she had the help that would, like, bring her food and stuff, and then she had some that would help torture, that she'd make help torture.
Oh my God, so she would not only torture the guys, she would make the slaves torture their own slaves? I mean, torture their own...
Kind.
Oh, yeah,
like,
their own family,
people.
basically,
Yeah.
their own people? That's
So yeah, she had some of the help or
Wow.
whatever tied up to the kitchen stoves and stuff. Sorry, I'm messing with my paper. They had some of the, I want to call them help, but it sounds less offensive. The help tied up to the kitchen, like the people that would cook and clean or whatever, they'd have them tie up to one spot so they really couldn't run away.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, yeah. She gained a reputation like quickly for like for being a cruel master, basically behind closed doors, even though no one really knew for sure, but like you could hear the screams and everything. So like she obviously pretty much gained. And then one of her neighbors reported seeing a slave run away from her as Madame LaLaurie, that's LaLaurie.
LaLaurie.
Tried hitting her with her whip, like running for her life.
Jeez.
And then,
think that woman's just a little psycho.
Yeah, and as she was running away, she fell off the roof and fell to her death.
What a dummy.
So, she did get away from her, but at the same time, she did die. So, I don't know if that's a win. And like I said about the kitchen help being tied up and stuff to the stove. In 1834, a fire broke out in the mansion.
Well, what happened to the house after she fell off the damn roof? Who got it?
No, not the white one, the slave.
Oh,
The one that she was chasing with the whip.
Oh.
That's why I was like, I don't know if it's sad or...
That is sad,
Well,
man. The
but
motherfucker was running for his life trying to get out of there.
Yeah, but I mean, like, he also
he
is
fell
not
off the
suffering
roof.
anymore. That's
Well,
why...
that's true. It's kind of,
that's why I was like, I don't know if it's a win or...
yeah.
Anyway, so so this point, the Madame LaLaurie, that's what she went by, Madame LaLaurie, she still owns the house because she's not the one that fell off the roof, just to clarify, the slave did, because she was running from her or whatever. So in 1834, a fire broke out in the mansion, and the residents that were like her neighbors basically ran because they were like, oh my god, a fire. And I don't know how. I guess she had like different slave areas because they tried to go to one of them, which they thought were the main entrance, and she wouldn't let anybody in.
Oh, really?
And they had to kick the door in or something because she wouldn't give them a key to get in.
Oh my god.
And they found out what was happening. They found like 7 horribly mutilated slaves, and they have been imprisoned for like, it looked like a long time. And once they found that, they then gathered like an angry mob and went to her house, and they burnt it down or like set stuff on fire and stuff, and they destroyed everything in the house, and she fled to Paris.
Wow.
Yeah, she ran, and she lived out the rest of her life there. And I really couldn't find anything after she went to Paris, but that's where she stayed, and she died there.
That's crazy. She got away with it.
Yeah. So, but it said after the fire, it was in 1900s, it became a girl home, like an African American girls' school.
Oh.
And they said, because of like whenever it was or whatever, I'm guessing Madame LaLaurie was already dead. So they say that she haunted the girls, because like she went back to her home and she like haunted the girls' school there, because the girls said that they would just randomly get attacked and stuff, not by other girls and not by the people there, just like nothing, and they would get bruises and stuff there.
Golly.
So, and because they were African American, I'm pretty sure that's why that. Because she was still, thinking, she was back in the 1800s when that was legal. And yeah. And then after that, it became an apartment complex.
Ew.
But now you can't go into it at all. They do ghost tours around it and talk about it and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
They probably don't let a whole lot of people in because of all the history and how
Yeah.
who wants to go through and really go through? I wouldn't want to go through that.
Me neither.
After knowing that.
Well, okay, so, and then also, I found this really interesting. So, in the 2000s, Nicolas Cage owned the house.
Oh my god.
And he's, like, people couldn't buy it or anything, but he's rich. He can get anything he wants. Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, wow.
That's crazy. Oh, Nicolas Cage bought in a haunted house.
Yeah, I was like, it didn't say if anything happened while he was there, but I was like, whoa. So, okay, I'm going to refer back to the show for a second. So, okay, if you remember of how, like, Madame LaLaurie died, in the show she didn't really die, but it did say that, like, she was the voodoo witch person.
Yeah.
She gave something to make her immortal, which obviously that wouldn't have happened in the real world, but she was made immortal, and she had to watch her whole family get hung in front of her because the voodoo witch was African American too.
Oh yeah.
So she gave the white woman, Madame LaLaurie, a something potion or something to make her immortal, and then she went outside because she heard banging and stuff, and her family was tied up in a tree and they hung them.
Wow.
And then she was buried in a box under concrete, and then that's whenever the witches found her. Like, 100 centuries later.
Gee,
and then also in the show, she would paint her face with their blood. The slave's blood.
Oh my God, she was that twisted?
Yeah. You don't remember that in the show?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she would literally paint it, and she'd have one of the helpers go and drain it off of them.
So man, some of that stuff they was showing on American Horror Story was really true. The bitch really was doing that stuff.
I couldn't find for sure if she was like doing the blood and stuff, but like she had the slaves help her all the time. Not
Oh
this.
my
I keep on saying
God.
slaves, but like the people she was helping, hired to clean and stuff. They were black, or African American. So obviously she was trying to find some torture in them because back then I don't know why, but everyone hated them. I know why,
Yeah.
but like,
It was just we was stupid back then.
but she was one of the really, 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 really mean people. Like, believed in torturing them and stuff.
God.
So, and she would, like I said, make them torture their own and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
So, okay, so that's kind of like the history and stuff. So I'm gonna give you guys some of the ghost stuff happening. Okay, so
What's the haps?
people refer to, instead of referring it to LaLaurie's mansion, they refer to it as the haunted house in New Orleans.
It's the haunted house of New Orleans.
And there is over 200 reports of paranormal activity in that house.
Shoot, I bet with that girl, no wonder what that woman was doing there. She was doing that to them.
Oh yeah.
To them poor people. I mean, Jesus Christ.
And then people say they hear moaning and footsteps, and they feel taken over by an extremely negative energy, which I'm guessing either is the slaves that she had captured of like how they felt in that moment, or it's her. And they hear screams of the innocent, basically.
Yeah.
So this isn't like a ghost thing. It kind of is, but it isn't, and it's also kind of history. So the wife of Madame LaLaurie the husband of Madame LaLaurie and herself, they would get some of the slaves and they would conduct medical experiments on them. So not experiments, like torture, basically. So they had a caged woman who they broke her limbs, and they broke all of her limbs, and they set them unnatural angles to resemble a cage.
To resemble a what?
A cage.
Her arms,
legs, all her limbs. Like they broke them. And then there was
that woman was twisted.
I know.
How did you do that?
And then they gave somebody a mutilated sex change. Yeah. I didn't even know they had those, but I didn't know that was a thing back then. I didn't know people know how to do that.
I didn't think they knew how to either. She was twisted.
Yeah, and then they removed another woman's limbs and they like added circular pieces and stuff to resemble a caliper. Like caliper. They rearranged basically her body to look like a caliper. And then they also did something to the person to make their face look like a gargoyle.
Wow.
So yeah. There were 7 slaves that were suspended from nooses or whatever, the things that you hang by, and they were badly mutilated.
So she just had bodies hanging around?
Literally? Everything, literally anything you can think of, she did to them.
Just leave them sitting there. Oh my God. Yeah,
like so there was also like the fire or whatever. 2 of the slaves got out, but they died like almost immediately after.
Jeez.
So. Yeah. It's okay, so I guess it's not really like ghost stuff. It's kind of more of history, but like I said, that I pretty much said that there was just like the normal you can hear. But yeah. So yeah, it is messed up, but like I just find it interesting because of American Horror Story.
Very interesting.
But yeah, I honestly didn't know it was based off a real story, and then I was looking up stuff and
that's kind of cool about that American Horror Story.
They
pretty much every series they talk about. I mean, whatever they talk about is it's real.
Yeah,
it really happened. I mean, they put their Hollywood twist on it.
Yeah,
but it really happened.
Yep.
And it's crazy how.
Okay, well, I'm gonna let you take the next story.
Okay.
So, I think you're doing the Goatman, right?
Yes, I am, Mr. Goatman. Mr.
Oh.
Goatman, how you doing today? Okay, mine's on the Goatman, and this story a lot of white noise. It's so white. So humid in here today.
No, my sunburn hurts.
Oh yeah, she went swimming yesterday, like all day and half the night got sunburnt.
Like, I'm red, like, as an apple.
Okay, boys and girls, here we go. The Goatman's Bridge. Right around the town of Gornith, Texas, in Denton County, is a small town of Alton, Texas. It was the county seat for a decade. But when the county seat moved in 1857, it basically killed the town. They went from, having a good community and building up because the state's the courthouse and all that was there. So yeah, it was a booming town. But then it moved, like I said, in 1857, and that killed the town. So there really wasn't nothing left of it after that. And then in 1884, long after the town had died and people left, they built an iron bridge across Hickory Creek. And they named it Copper Road, just south of Alton. It was built by the King Bridge Company of Cleveland, Ohio, and it is about 145 feet long.
Jeez.
Yeah. It was put to use for a working bridge for the century. That was they say working bridge. They made it a good iron steel bridge like that, so people could haul their horses across, and it was still built in the buggy days, so they had to make it strong enough for the
horses and
stuff. Well, then after a while, it kind of got the name of the old Alton Bridge, but it's better known as the Goatman Bridge. It was shut down in 2001 when a new bridge and a new road was built just to the west of it, I think they said. And the legend says you can see a man with goats crossing the bridge sometimes.
Does it say, like, why? Who does that?
That's what I'm getting to.
Oh, sorry. My boy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got a little bit ahead of myself.
Well, anyways, there was this man who moved down there, and he started a business right on the other side of the bridge. He started a business of he was selling goats. Well, he was selling the goats and all that and making a pretty good profit. Well, this guy was he was an outsider. He wasn't like a home guy, He was an outsider, and you know how the people back then felt about outsiders and shit. So a mob got together, which was very, very mean of them. A mob got together and went across his bridge, because the bridge, and went to his house, burned his house down, and hung him. And they did all this just because they was jealous of the profit, because he was making real good money with it.
He wasn't, like, African American or anything, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably also why.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to get into that.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
But anyways, people went over there and killed him and his family and fucking hung him, poor guy.
Jeez, yeah. People were assholes back then.
Oh, God, yeah.
People are still like that, but...
jeez, they just went to this house and did that. Well, then, too, back then, though, if you was... I'm not lying. If you was an outsider, they didn't want you around. They didn't like you, especially back then when a lot of the foreigners were coming over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, people did not like that at all.
So they say, like, he haunts the bridge now?
Oh, yeah, he, because that was his thing, I guess, that he would take the goats across the bridge sometimes to go graze in another part of the field or something. and that's what he was, would do. Well, they say his ghost. You can see his ghost sometimes pushing them cows around. I'm not pushing the sheep up and down the bridge and stuff. And then sometimes they say if you honk your horn, you'll see his image sitting there on the side of the bridge when you drive by.
Oh, see, I thought you were gonna be talking about like the actual like Goatman, like with the horns.
Yeah, that's what I thought that story was gonna be, but no, this story goes. That's why he's called the Goatman, because he raised goats, and his actual ghost still haunts the area and stuff, because the way he freaking died.
Yeah, that was
messed up. Very brutal.
Yeah. Jeez.
That's a thing, man. I've noticed. I mean, that's why a lot of these ghosts are here. The ways they died and went out.
And a lot of them too. They can't like find peace.
Yeah. Well, especially a guy like that. Come on, we had a good business, and then all of a sudden these assholes come in and we're gonna burn it down and kill your family because we don't like you because you're a different color.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, supposedly his spirit still haunts the bridge. Like I said. Sometimes you can still see, him pushing his goats across the bridge and all that. And then, like, you go across it and honk your horn, you'll see him at night, too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, well, do you think we have time for one more?
I think we do, brown cow.
Okay, guys. So, this one's probably going to be a little shorty, but I'm going to be talking about the Jerome Grand Hotel in Arizona. So, let's get on with her. Okay, so it was built... Sorry, I just kicked dog in the face. So, it was built on top of Cleopatra Hill. And it's overlooked...
Is that in Egypt? Cleopatra?
No, it's in Arizona. And it's overlooking the something valley. I don't even want to try to pronounce it because I will ruin it. It's overlooking a valley, and you can basically see the entire city. It's 5 stories high. It's made of concrete and stuff, So it was originally a hospital.
Concrete and steel.
It was originally a hospital and asylum too. So it was built as the United Bird, I think that's how you say it, hospital in the late 1920s, and it closed in 1950s. And then the hospital opened, or not the hospital, the hotel opened in
You're killing me here.
Sorry,
why are we pausing so much?
It opened after that, after they had to reconstruct everything because it was a hospital. Obviously, you can't open a hotel when there's no beds and everything.
Oh sure, yeah you can. I do it all the time.
Also, the main attraction for the town was a copper mining. Copper mining. So it closed in 1950, but then it came back in the 1970s. So it was back and forth.
It was a little old mining town.
Yeah. But there wasn't really that much history.
There's a lot of them boom towns like that were popped up overnight, and they lasted for 3 to 5 years, and then they're gone. And there's not that much history about them.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, this one doesn't really have a lot of history.
That's another thing too I was thinking about we could do on our show. We could look up old ghost towns too and tell stories about the old ghost towns.
Yeah.
Because there's a million in Texas. They're all over the South, especially out there like Arizona, all that, because of the gold rush.
Yeah. Also, the hotel still experienced some stuff from the hospital because there was an operating room on the 3rd floor, and there's obviously still all of the floors. So, and most of the deaths that I'm going to talk about happened on the 3rd floor, which is where the operating room was.
That's where we're staying the night, 3rd floor.
And the hospital treated miners and those people who suffered from a deadly epidemic. Guess there was one going around or something. It might have been that tuberculosis thing.
Yeah, because tuberculosis. When was that hot and heavy, that town?
It was 1950s, 1970s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Never mind then. I thought it was started in the 1800s.
No, I messed up.
Well, yeah.
I said 18, and I was like, nope, never mind.
So
But
so it started in the 1950s.
the coal mining, yeah.
Oh, okay, coal mining.
I mean,
coal
not
mining.
copper. God dang
I
it.
mean copper. Yeah, copper. Yeah.
So, okay. That's all
Okay,
the
so
history.
anyways, it's a town that started in the 1950s from copper mining.
I didn't say when it started because, okay, the hospital was there in 1927 and it closed in 1950. And that's whenever the copper mining got like popular. But then
I see.
so
the town was there for a while. It just didn't get its name because of copper.
yes and no. Like it was going away and coming back. They couldn't make up his mind if they like it or not. So, okay.
We hate it. We like it. I don't like that copper. I love you, copper.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about like the rooms because, like I said, there's not really that much.
What about the rooms?
There's not that much history. Okay, so
Hey, wait before you say anything. Was there any woman that killed herself on her wedding night?
No, but there are people
Really?
that killed themselves.
Wow. Well, for a while, every time you told a story about a hotel, there was some girl who killed herself.
Yeah, these kind of have to do with like I think some of them have to do with like the coal mining and the maintenance and stuff. I keep on saying coal, but it's not coal. It's copper. So every time I say copper, it's not it's frick.
It's called. Why you talking like this, mate?
Sorry. Okay,
It's copper.
we're going
I'm
back
talking
to the
copper
rooms.
here.
Okay, so room 32, there's
32,
assortment of paranormal activity in there. And there's also a lot of death in that room. So one man, like he was in a wheelchair, he literally wheeled himself off the balcony.
Oh my God, he must have been really been pissed off at life.
And then another person shot himself in the head in that room.
Damn. See, and that's another thing. There's always a room where everybody goes to commit suicide.
Yeah.
Remember that one you said? It was that she killed herself on her wedding night, and then 20 years later, another woman
one
did it. That's fucking crazy.
I know. So the doors there open and close on their own. Faucets turn off and on. They hear noises a lot too, and also you can hear an old hospital gurney like rolling across the floor.
Wow.
And the hospital hasn't been operating for a long time.
That's crazy, man.
They do see a bearded miner, like an
old bearded miner.
Yeah.
I tell you, man.
and past patients walking around. You can also hear wailing, like really deeply crying, and heavy breathing. Yeah. You can hear pacing of people in the hallways and stuff, going back and forth and up and down stairs and stuff, but there's literally no one there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Also there is an elderly miner. I get that might be the bearded miner.
Elderly miner.
Yeah, she haunts the second and third floor.
Why does she do that?
Oh. And there's a spirit of a small boy and an old lady dressed in white.
Small boy with little old lady.
There's I don't think I ever said it. Okay, well, there was a caretaker, a person who fell in the okay, you know, they talked about the elevator shafts, people getting pushed in them and murdered, last time. Well, I don't know how they didn't say how this guy died, but apparently he got found underneath the elevator shaft, and he was squished to death.
Oh my God!
So I don't. They
didn't know he was there, and they just kept going.
Yeah, they think. They
Going
said
down.
that the elevator. Oh yeah, because the elevator was working perfectly fine. So they think that he got murdered. Like someone pushed him in there on purpose.
Oh my God! So basically, somebody killed him, and it's no one to find him under here. See?
And then they did, but they don't know what happened. But people think he got murdered.
How many times he got smashed?
Oh God!
Just think of finding it. It would be like a big old. It'd be like a human pancake.
Well, that guy that died, he messes with the elevator power.
What the flimity flam?
Yeah, and it's not like how it was then. It's actual elevators. So,
wow.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I have. But
I think we had some pretty good stories today.
Sorry, I'm over here stuttering and stuff. My sunburn hurts so bad. I just wanted to get
Goatman
up.
one got everybody. I thought I was going to be actually talking about the actual, Goatman.
I know. That's what I thought, too.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Then I started reading into the story, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. It was still a pretty good story, though.
Yeah.
So, okay, well.
But next time, I think I'm going to dig into some of the stories my brother told me from Oklahoma.
From Westville?
Yeah. There's some good old stories around there.
Yeah, there is.
And like I said, guys, we really need y'all to hit them subscribe buttons and like our stuff and everything and keep downloading. And like Lexi said, we're on iTunes now.
And we're also, like I said, the email's open. Just send us whatever you want. Or like I said, you can always send us stories if you don't feel like putting it out there on Twitter or Instagram. Or like I said, you can always DM us.
Oh, yeah.
On those. Or send us emails, whatever you want. Just do it.
And a big thank you to everybody liking our stuff and listening to it. Thank you to everybody that's over there in Europe, liking our stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yes. Thank you so much. It's
and thank
awesome.
you to our Brazilian friends down south. Love you guys too, man. That's pretty awesome. But y'all just keep listening and keep subscribing and liking and everything. And we'll be dropping. I don't know. Y'all let us know. Do y'all like hearing it's on Mondays, or would y'all like it on Fridays, Wednesdays?
Yeah, what day do you guys want us to drop it? Because right now we're kind of keep dropping them at like Monday at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Or we can drop it as soon as we make it. Or like, what do you guys want us to do?
What do y'all guys want us to do? Y'all want us to have it so y'all can have it for Friday at work, or
just let us know and we'll do it.
We'll work on y'all, man. Y'all are what keeps us here doing it, guys. And we love doing it. We got some good old stories planned out future down the way and further on down the road. So.
And we're trying to plan a really cool Halloween special, too.
Yes.
Even though it's like 4 months in advance.
Yeah, well, good thing we got 4th of July to practice with.
Yeah.
Because I'm not letting anybody come in the room and jump around.
Yeah, we had a cookout the other night at my aunt's house. Oh, my God, it was awful.
We tried to do a live podcast, and it was crazy.
Well, because everyone's like, oh, my God, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then everyone wants to touch everything the minute we start recording, and you can't do that.
Yeah.
But, okay, guys, just stay tuned, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys later, man, and thank you guys for listening, and y'all be safe. Don't be sorry. Stay away from the boogeyman, and look under your bed before you go to bed. Make sure your door's shut. Check all the eyes, and, make sure your T's are crossed. We don't need no boogeyman's getting y'all. And y'all be safe now. You hear?
Bye.
Bye.